All right, today we are doing a pretty interesting video. I obviously have my NC2 Miata. I've never driven an NC3. This is owned by Q the Chaotic.
What's going on?
We are going to do a bit of a comparison day. He's taking my NC Miata, I'm taking his ND Miata, and we're going to see kind of the differences between the two. I love the ND Miata. I definitely thought about getting one before my NC, and I probably will eventually. ND3, I've heard has sort of incremental upgrades. I've heard the steering is a little bit better. The suspension is a little bit retuned as well.
Right.
I think that's like kind of the main two things.
They added a track mode, which limits stability control for a novice like me on the street, so I don't crash or anything.
Okay,
So, yeah.
that's sick. I actually did not know they had like a track mode. That's kind of nice. I think like one of the biggest differences between the ND and the NC is the interior. The ergonomics are a lot better. Materials are better. There's obviously a lot more technology. In my NC, the footwell genuinely annoys me. In the ND, you have a lot more room in the footwell. Transmission does not protrude as much. So overall, I think the interior is way more improved. But we're gonna take it for a drive, see how it does. Okay, I'm going top down. It's that interesting mechanism in like the ND. All right, ND3 Miata. It'll be interesting seeing my car driving behind me. I love Miatas. All shapes and sizes, I just love Miatas. To me, I think the NC is great because it has sort of a lot of great qualities of a modern car, but it's a very raw driving experience. And it feels more similar to an NB Miata than an ND. But I personally really like the NDs. They're a lot nicer to drive, nicer to live with. Also, this exhaust is perfect. So this has a race muffler from Goodwin Racing. It's got front and rear sway bars, and it's basically just like a pretty near stock car, but it just has a little bit extra. I think this exhaust sounds absolutely perfect. Transmission is so smooth. That is one thing about my NC that I kind of don't like. The transmission is very clunky, and it's similar to my NB Miata, where like it's not super consistent, but with this, every single shift is the same. It's a modern transmission, and sure, you don't have the same feel, but like driving it every day is just way smoother. Q has an aftermarket steering wheel as well. It feels so sick. I'll have all of the mods down in the description below. I love all Miatas. I think you can't go wrong with like any generation. The ND3 immediately, I'm not noticing a lot of differences between the ND2. It's incremental upgrades, right? Like that's the thing with Miatas. It's like every single year they just get kind of better. I mean, realistically, like sure, there's a lot of nostalgia with the old ones, but if you drive an old Miata like an NA or an NB and then an ND, you're gonna have a lot more, I think, appreciation for how more complete of a package the ND Miata is in comparison. The clutch is really smooth. Very easy to rev match, to heel and toe. I think the pedal positioning is a little bit easier than the NC. You're kind of cramped in my car, whereas this, it's like you got a lot more room, and they did a lot more sort of packaging. And the engine is great. Compared to, I guess, an ND1 or an NC Miata, you really notice a lot more top-end power with the ND2 or the ND3. In comparison to like You know, the ND2, do you notice that, you know, it's basically the exact same in terms of power. It's just like the suspension tuning, yeah, the steering response, and there's a track mode, but like, you know, the ND3, hold on. Oh my gosh. Oh, I love it. It's so good. It feels more in line with like an S2000. That's what this car feels like. It's good power. It's not a slow car anymore. It's planted too. I mean, like, having some upgraded sway bars definitely makes a big difference. Very, very easy car to drive. The transmission is super simple. Clutch is simple. It's a very, very easy car to drive. And I think a very easy car to drive fast. I mean, these ND Miatas, they are not that slow on track anymore. Like, they're not kind of a meme car that everyone makes fun of. They've got some decent power now. And sure, it's not a muscle car. Straight line speed isn't gonna blow you away. But getting out of the corners, being able to actually like use power effectively in cornering, it's so much improved, you know, in comparison to like the older Miatas. Steering is super, super sharp. It seems like the on-center feeling is just way more direct. As soon as you even move the steering wheel like an inch, it turns in. And whereas my NC and my NB Miata, they were a little bit more lazy. I think the steering rack was a little bit slower. It kind of, you know, this feels like the car actually really wants to turn in. Another great thing about the ND Miatas is that they are very, very fuel efficient. So the gas mileage is fantastic in the ND Miatas. And sure, it's a fun car, like, you know, that's not the point of it, but it's just a nice little added benefit. I think one day I am definitely going to get an ND Miata. Very touchy throttle. It is so good. I'm telling you guys, it is just substantially easier to drive in every possible way. A good load on turns. I think the steering, while it might not be as direct as my NC Miata, it still feels good. It's like I drive, you know, some new cars here and there, and most of the times the steering is absolutely dead. This isn't. You still have a decent amount of response, and the rack is super quick, so it makes you feel like the car really likes to turn. And a lot of people complain about the steering in the ND, but I don't know, man. I think it's fine. Love this exhaust. Really, really great sound coming from this ND Miata. In terms of the interior, it's definitely like, it's nicer, yeah, but the materials aren't like that drastically different. It's still like soft touch to the points that, you know, you're commonly touching, but it's not like that much nicer. What is nicer is, number one, the technology, and then number two, just sort of the overall seating position. It feels a lot more comfortable to me. I'm like 5'8", and I think that the foot box is way, way easier. The seats also, they have a little bit more bolstering. So NC vs ND, I definitely prefer the ND Miata interior. This car sounds so good. For just having a muffler, it sounds fantastic. I feel like, especially now that I'm getting older, I'm 27, I think any Miata that you can get is just such a breath of fresh air. Like, having the top down, being able to row your own gears, you can drive these cars to the limit on the street and you're really not doing anything crazy. It's a nice car to be in and have fun and kind of enjoy motoring again. Because it's not about just like pure performance with Miatas. It's not. It's like, it's the whole story. It's the sound, it's the feeling, it's the steering, it's the way that it corners. And Miata is just always going to be the answer. With that, thank you guys for watching. Pretty sure I'm going to own an ND Miata next. That's how good these are. But again, if you own any Miata, you're already winning. They're just the best cars ever made, in my opinion. They're definitely the best sports car ever made. That's one thing that I stand to, like 100%.